Azami is probably one of the most polarizing characters being added to the game. I don't think that's really controversial to say. Regardless of what we think, she definitely looks like she's going to be one of the most operators to play. But her character design is very off-putting to a lot of people because she looks like a Rogue Company character. Like basically everything else in this community, the topic has become a dick measuring contest of, I like the game to have military do. Disney character bad. You don't like Disney character. You are a military nerd. Shut up. This conversation has been beaten to death, and I think most people have made where they stand on it pretty clear by now. I made a video some time ago talking about Siege's writing after Yana was added to the game, and I gotta say, I think that video aged pretty well. Is Siege an anime?
Yes.
Like I said, this isn't the first time we've talked about this. It came up with Yana. We were talking about her costume, gadget design, and the fact that she's albino. Albinism, I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that correctly, aside from what most people know about it, is also characterized by visual light sensitivity. So obviously, that's going to be a detriment in a line of work that's highly dependent on your hand-eye coordination. In order to get around this, Yana has a pair of special contact lenses that you can actually see when playing her. It lets her do the shoot-bang with the rest of them. Despite the emphasis on shoot-bang in the marketing, way back in the day with that famous Idris Elba commercial, Siege just made an effort to add a diverse cast of characters, not just in terms of their identities, but their backgrounds in the technical world. We've had a PMC added, which is supposed to be the main villain of the story now. I don't know what's going on there. We have a former criminal who's in witness protection. We've got people from the civilian sector, more closely related to the first responder community. We've had a lot of people added to Siege that aren't just police or special forces guys, and they've all come in different costumes. But they've all seemed to have some kind of strict focus on tactical functionality over style and flair, until Azami came out. Now, since I am talking about this for a video, I can save you guys the trouble and just give my opinion so you can choose whether to like or dislike the video, because that's how this works. So I'm just going to say, I like the design. I get it. I get why people are irritated by it. I think if she was added in year 1 or year 2, you'd see the Rainbow Six subreddit piss itself. There's definitely been a significant art style shift here, and I think people aren't wrong, as in morally wrong, right? They're not incorrect when they point that out, but I think there is a point behind the design that I think has its merits that I'm going to point out. A common argument against these kinds of characters is that it seems it's modifying the art design to be less tactical. Can we just call it like it is? I love it when people try to attribute so many highbrow political or philosophical arguments to liking a particular art style. Guys, you can just say, like, a dude John Wicking some motherfuckers is cool. You can just say it's badass, right? Like, we can all agree. Why do people make, like, amateur movies about fighter jets and DCS? Because fighter jets are fucking cool. And that's why Ace Combat was so popular, right? You can have nuanced political writing. You can have good military drama, and fighter jets can be cool at the same time. You can put the two together. So Azami gets added, and for some reason people act like Ubisoft is adding cat ears to every operator costume. I don't know if anybody remembers that Thatcher exists. Let's use our brain. Brain time. Okay. We can assume he's like a relatively conservative guy, right? First, his name is Thatcher, literally, and he puts a Union Jack on his Electrodium Explodies. Bruh. Now, here's the thing. I'm not pointing these out because I have a problem with it, right? I think it's fine. It adds a little bit of character. I don't have a problem with some guys on Team Rainbow, assumedly having some conservative leanings, because anyone with the brain knows that military and law enforcement members tend to have relatively conservative leanings, you know, depending on where they go. Your mileage may vary a little bit. So anybody demanding that the game be politically sterile, I think, is being ridiculous. But Azami's character design doesn't really prompt me to make arguments about political alignment as much as what it means for a person like Azami and a person like Thatcher to be on the same team, right? Like, that's what Ubi's trying to do, okay? Harry is an idealist, highly morally grounded sort of idea of how Rainbow is supposed to bring everybody from like a bunch of different backgrounds together to solve problems, right? He's trying to use behavioral science as a way to recruit. So like the politics of it, from what I can tell, are kind of irrelevant to Harry. Everybody like contributes their specific flavor to the team, and that's the important part. I think Harry made this very clear in the hammer and scalpel cutscene, where Dokebi's more technology and methodology-dependent methods clashed with Thatcher's focus of fundamentals and shooting bad guy. Right? Neither of these approaches are wrong, but Thatcher is a more experienced operator than Dokebi and uses this as an opportunity to teach her the downsides of overcomplicating things in this line of work. This comes from combat experience and the fact that he's older, where obviously the technology in his formative years in this job wasn't as developed yet by Siege's standards. Thatcher is, according to canon, a veteran of the Falklands War and the Iranian embassy siege in London. So, yeah, he was young at very pivotal moments in terms of the public perception around special forces and their capabilities kind of emerging. So, old habits die hard, and it's shaped a lot of who he is as a person and as a professional. So, it makes sense that he's got a dismissive attitude of over-reliance on tech. Now, I think with Azami's background, it's a bit less concrete, especially for anybody who might read a lot of military fiction and finds her addition to the game confusing. So I'll just look at Ubisoft's official writing on her. Azami used to be a security police cop in Tokyo. Their protection detail made for keeping important people safe when they're in Japan. Apparently, she's got anger problems, mod check, and got suspended, so she was like, fuck y'all, I'm gonna do my own thing, and I'm gonna become a bodyguard for some important dude. And, well, the important dude died, and then she hit up Habana. So she's got experience with law enforcement and the rules associated with security detail in that structured environment, and she has experience with security detail in the quote-unquote private sector. You know what it is. And the lack of rules associated with that kind of job. So this is somebody with a lot of experience in different fields, and when it comes to something as high profile as Team Rainbow, that's useful to have, right? That's useful to have and keep around as an asset to the organization. Now, don't get me wrong, there's parts of Siege's writing that feel kind of discombobulated, kind of all over the place, right? I feel like there's multiple people working on different things. I don't know, nobody has explained why Harry is running a Cop Olympics tournament. I don't know what the hell is going on with this. Why is Nighthaven the bad guy? What do they do? What's Callie gonna do with all these Rainbow members? Right? Is she gonna try to take over the world? Right? Personally, I feel like the whole push of Nighthaven specifically being the antagonist of this writing we have here is very forced, because I haven't seen them do anything. Right? The only thing I've seen them do is in this Azami trailer, they shoot the guy, which like I don't know who this is. Is he a bad guy? So Nighthaven's the good guys, right? Because they got the bad guy. Where Nighthaven's the bad guy, maybe he's the good guy, but he's like the not so good guy. So the not so good guy because they got the not so bad, but maybe he's not good, maybe he's bad. And I'm not 100% sure what. And Rainbow does what? They have a tournament every year. That's what they do. Like, where's the antagonist? Is it Callie? Callie's the antagonist. If she's supposed to be the bad guy, which is what I think they're trying to set up here. Okay. She is the least compelling villain since the plant fucking guy from the last James Bond movie. Like, her whole character arc is that she full sent without droning and Ash got mad. Like, that's it? Come on. Yubi, like, do something, okay? And this is really, like, this is where I think a lot of people are coming from with the Azami character design. They think it's representative of other problems with the writing. And I don't think there's a problem with the character design. I think the character design's fine. I just want Yubi to stop fucking pulling punches. It's a game about counter-terrorist units, okay? The story started with a bioweapons attack on a university, okay? Rated M, not for kids. I think you guys get my point. Like, Nighthaven's just not a compelling villain. Now, back to the character design stuff. You know, Ubisoft isn't just adding character designs like Azami. The Ace Elite is a pretty good example. I think this is cool, right? Like, that's a much more tactical bro-looking kind of outfit, okay? Team Rainbow, from a cultural point of view, is meant to show all the connections and possibilities of the espionage and security world, and it also has to put some of the more off-the-book aspects on for display as well. I think anybody who's assuming that federal organizations don't work with criminals or former criminals from time to time is fucking kidding themselves. You take the information you can get, capabilities on the ground that you can get. If Azami has some know-how that Team Rainbow didn't have without her presence, then that's why Harry added her to the team. And to be fair, based off of her background, her costume design doesn't really clash. So from a purely pragmatic point of view, I think she makes sense. And she's a lot less sci-fi than freaking Yana. So in my opinion, Azami looks fine. Am I a military history nerd who likes tactical bro stuff? Yeah, but at the end of the day, the only thing I really care about when it comes to Azami is that she's fun to play.